hello. I have not gone live in so long, and it looks like I'm having a problem streaming on LinkedIn. So let me, while you are tuning in, let me click up this chat. Man, Restream has changed so much since the last time I was on here. So go ahead and drop where you're tuning in from. If you are here, I know on LinkedIn, it is not coming up. I'm live. Okay, I see myself now. So let's go ahead and get started. Whew, man, 2024 has been a year. Let me go ahead and share my screen just so if there are going to be any tech issues, we can get them out of the way now. All right. It looks like we can see it. Cool. I think. All right. So what's up, my people? It has been a minute. Well, actually, it's been almost a year since I hosted a live stream. So I am thrilled to be here with you today. I kind of dived into LinkedIn audio rooms and really took a back seat in general, just because it's kind of a lot to come on camera. I mean, today got my messy bun, just showing up, coming in and talking to you good people. As you're jumping into the live stream, let me know where you're tuning in from, because I love to see where my community reaches. All right, so I see I'm officially on. Perfect. So I'll stop wiggling around now. I am streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, just in case, you prefer one platform over the other. Can you, there's 11 days until 2025. Can you believe it? This past year, oh man, it's been brutal. So many people that I love, so many people that I work with, coach, myself. It's just been a lot has been happening. So tell me in the chat, has it been a whirlwind of wins or a roller coaster of challenges or somewhere in between? What's up, Mark and Randy from Florida? Hello. Oh, man. Okay, so for years now, we've been talking about AI. It's dominated everything from how we work to how we create, and people are craving real. So that's why I'm dubbing 2025 the year of authenticity. And yeah, I know the word feels overplayed because, well, if we're being honest, it gets misused. I mean, the word, people use it in just wrong ways. But when you strip all the shit out, authenticity is really just about getting back to what's genuine. The real, not the AI. And so that's where I think the magic is going to happen in 2025. And I'm here to show you how to take that shift. Hey, everybody tuning in. Hello, Alex from Dallas, Texas, and Sadia from Wisconsin. What's going on? The comments are starting to roll in. For those of you who are familiar how lives work, there's kind of a lag. So welcome, everyone. All right, so let me share this slide deck. Yep, it's up. You guys can see this. Perfect. Woohoo. Okay. Monica from Texas. Hello. Rester from Atlanta. Hello. Leah from Virginia. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited you all are here. As executive leaders, you already know that numbers and data are essential for making informed decisions. But let's not overlook how intuition plays in, especially when we're navigating decisions with limited or uncertain information, right? No one can really predict what's going to happen in 2025 with absolute certainty, but we have a few trusted sources for economic forecasting, one of them being the Bureau of Labor Statistics and another one being different analytics firms. Their insights can help us figure out, kind of a glimpse of what's ahead. But one thing I can say with 100% certainty is that I will not be doing extensive recruiting in 2025, not because there's not a demand, but because my team is in an amazing place. So I'm really proud about that. For those of you who do not know, I launched a recruitment firm in 2024 to support my ambitious clients who decided corporate wasn't for them, and they went on and built startups. In 2024, JYC Recruiting filled over 400 roles. JYC Resume Writing helped nearly 50 clients land new positions, and JYC Career Coaching facilitated workshops to well over 1,000 people. And what am I forgetting? JYC Consulting, man, we've been doing some really cool tech integrations as well as a bunch of different people operations programming. And they kind of come all full circle about really making workplaces better one way or the other. That was 2024. For me, there was growth, there was incredible wins. It was really, really hard. But for a lot of you, that really, really hard didn't necessarily pay off. It was just the job search was hard, or work was really, really hard, and it didn't feel like there were a lot of wins. So if you are coming in here today and that's your case, I see you. Most of my clients are in those positions, and I want you to stick around, or if you've got to jump, at least come back to the replay, because I'm going to talk a lot today about how you can position yourself in 2025. So as we know, political power is shifting, right? And politics has economic implications. And they're radically different in 2025, right? Because we're having a change of power. Sorry, I'm seeing all these new posts pop up. Hey, Stefan. Hey, Antonio. So glad that you could join. So as the economy is shifting, the market's going to feel different. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. The market's just going to feel different. The election brought a lot of caution from companies and stagnation, right? Let's call a spade a spade. There was a lot of freaking frustration from job seekers, but 2025 is going to be a significantly different job market with the political power that's shifting. There's going to be different policies. We can kind of talk about them a little bit, but probably it's not going to be fun to talk about those things. What is interesting and what I'm thinking is that we're on the front end of an AI winter. Talent from failed AI startups are going to flood the job market, and companies that heavily invested in AI will pivot from new innovations and focus on adoption, infrastructure, policy, and all the other kind of things that go along with using AI in the business. And if you tuned in and think someone else should be hearing this right now, go ahead and click that share button with a friend. They can always come back to the link and watch it on replay. Hey, Courtney, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so get ready to nerd out with me, guys. So on Tuesday, December 3rd, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released their latest JOLTS report. That's job openings and labor turnover summary. For those of you who might not be familiar, this report gives us a detailed look into the U.S. job market, covering job openings, hiring trends, and workforce movements. It's like a snapshot of what's happening behind the scenes, but it's a quarter behind. So while we're talking about October trends, these insights are still going to help us figure out how this year is closing out and what's to come ahead. So drop a yes in the chat if you've seen changes in the job market post-election, right? The election was in October. So since then, in November and December, have you been seeing an uptick in jobs or more interviews or anything? Let me know what you've been experiencing if you're in a position to do so. Thanks to Mish, we've got this nifty little chart to break down all of that data visually. And so here's what the JOLTS report showed us for October. And let me pull up my notes because I'm not going to be able to read this little report. So the number of job openings increased significantly, bringing the total of jobs up to 7.744 million. That is a 4.6% of open jobs, which is a shift from the 4.4 where we're at in quarter two. This growth is largely driven by a couple of sectors: professional and business services, food and accommodations, and the information sector. So these industries are vital to both our infrastructure, right, and our daily lives. But how helpful is this growth for executives? If you've been actively job searching, you probably know this answer. There's demand, but at the leadership level in particular, the competition has been fierce. But here's where it kind of gets interesting. So despite the surge in job openings, the number of hires actually fell to 3.3%. So it fell by almost 270,000 hires in quarter three. So what does that tell us? Employers are being cautious. So they're advertising positions, but they're not necessarily filling them. And I know a lot of people have told me it feels like these are fake job postings. You know, what the heck is going on? And election years are notorious for making companies be a little bit more cautious. Now let's look at the separations for a moment. So with the separations, that includes quits, layoffs, and discharges. That number dropped slightly, and now we're to 1%. So that means employers are holding on to their talent. I mean, after years of challenges in rehiring, they're reluctant to let people go, even in a slower hiring environment. And I realize this does not make anybody feel any better if you've been in an extended job search or if you've been laid off. And oddly enough, even quits, they're up by 2.1%. So typically when people are voluntarily quitting, it signals worker confidence. Now, anybody that I work with, they haven't felt very confident about this job market. So this is, kind of interesting data that came out. Drop your thoughts in the chat because I'd be curious to hear what you're seeing. Do your friends feel like, absolutely, I'm going to quit a job and get a job in no time? I personally haven't been seeing that. So the JOLTS report doesn't separate data by job levels, but there's an outplacement services firm called Challenger Gray and Christmas, and they actually found that 1,800 CEOs have resigned, retired, or voluntarily quit. That's a 13% increase from 2023. Executive roles, we know they're high pressure. Success is often tied to organization results. So stock prices, profits, and we've seen this strain hit industries like healthcare, technology, entertainment, leisure. Leadership volatility, it sends a ripple effect through organizations. So it's something that we should really be watching closely as we move into 2025. When CEOs leave their post, that allows a new CEO to come in. That allows a new C whatever to move up. That creates all kinds of opportunities within an organization and often shifts in strategy and things of that nature. So that's something we definitely want to keep our eye out in 2025. So as we look ahead to 2025, Moody Analytics gives us a clear and data-driven view of economic forces shaping the year. For over a century, Moody has been a trusted leader in risk assessment and economic insights. They help businesses and leaders navigate uncertainty with confidence with their analytics. You may have worked with them at one of your organizations before. And so they found kind of a couple of things. First, the job growth is slowing. The Washington Post, hopefully they cited this wrong, but cited that Moody predicted that the job growth is projected to drop to 50,000 jobs by the end of 2025. That would be catastrophic. Hopefully it's just a cooling market, if anything. one of the things that they were talking about on a positive note is that banking environments are stabilizing. So when we deposit more money, growth is recovering, and companies will be looking for financial leaders who can really drive risk management and all of these evolving financial landscapes. So if you have expertise in that space, there should be opportunities for you in 2025. That's some good news. We're also seeing an increased investment. Like investments are flowing, right? And so that's reshaping global supply chains. Many companies are investing in nearshoring versus other places that we've done business with in the past. And so when we move things closer to North America, and mind you, like all of this I'm speaking on is more so referencing the US job market, because I see we have some global guests tuning in. But this opens opportunities for executives in operations, logistics, and transformation. You're going to be playing really pivotal roles to optimize supply chain and really build resilience in the US market. And then one of the things Moody talks about in their report that we really can't ignore is geopolitical risk, right? It's unpredictable. We're going to continue to need leaders who can operate with foresight, resilience, and really the decision, the ability to make decisions in uncertain times. So that's a little recap on Moody. And if you're interested in like reading their article, shoot me a DM and I can send you the link so you can see a little bit more about this. But I have a feeling you could care less about nerding out with me with the data, and you just want to get to the meat and the potatoes of like, what's up? Okay. So the data tells us 2025 is going to be a year of change and disruption. Anyone who paid attention to the election could see this coming. Now, I know Moody's analytics, but my intuition and some key indicators are telling me that, like it or not, politics aside, the new administration is going to stir shit up. History has shown that Trump loves to pump the US stock market. And the Federal Reserve has already said that they plan on lowering interest rates. So these two factors happening at the same exact time should make Q1 strong for job seekers. While they don't always guarantee job creation at like the rate at which this is happening in Q1, that's my prediction. That means this is your window to lead boldly. Early 2025 is going to move fast, and companies are going to be looking to fill these key roles. So you really want to align your value with market needs. And I'm not talking about lying. That's the exact opposite of authenticity, just making yourself who these companies want. I genuinely mean looking at who you are as a leader and figuring out what kind of companies align with that style of leadership and goals. And you step into a role where your values, vision, mission, strategy, and ability to inspire teams can create the type of results you're capable of, where you can truly be authentic. If you're offended by that word, like I get it, but we're so tired of AI. We're so tired of poor leadership. You being able to stand out and take ownership of who you are, who you actually are, what you've actually done is going to be the difference between you being somebody a company wants to hire and you just continuing to be looked at as a commodity. While we're talking about this, something else that we found really interesting was that resumetemplates.com. If you need a resume template, by the way, I've got one on my website. Wow, shameless plug. But they surveyed over 1,200 people or something like that. And 56% of them with full-time jobs said that they would be looking for a new job in 2025. And 27% said that they had already started looking. People are tired of low pay, feeling undervalued, experiencing burnout. I mean, how many of us haven't experienced burnout in 2024? And a lot of people feel trapped without opportunities for growth, so they're starting their job search. I'm walking into 2025 ready to eat as a recruiter. I know that there is going to be talent out there that I can place at amazing organizations. What are you doing? What are you going to do in 2025? So why don't we start off by looking at AI and automation? These technologies have been at the forefront of corporate strategy for at least the past 5 years, and I predicted that we're heading into an AI winter. At this point, we're on the back end of all the hype of creating new and shiny things. Companies are now shifting their focus to optimizing technologies that they've already invested in because they want to see that ROI. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean companies aren't going to continue in investing in technology. I'm just suggesting that companies who have already invested in technology, they're going to be wanting to incorporate it in every role. And they're going to want to make sure that their teams are using it well. So what does that mean for executives like you? This is a prime opportunity for you to step into AI governance, implementation, user adoption. You need to bridge that gap between technology and business strategies. Leaders who can take these investments and turn them into measurable results are those who are going to get hired. And that goes from finance leaders to HR leaders, marketing. It's not just for the tech leaders. So as you're thinking about like, how do I position myself for this? That's a great question. You should really be making sure that you do position yourself for it. And if you need help, you know who to call. Your girl's got your back. So drop in the chat. Let me make sure I'm still streaming. Drop in the chat if you know what technologies are using AI in recruitment, because I'm going to show you some behind the scenes. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to show you what's happening behind the scenes. Cool. All right, perfect. Sorry, guys. I had a thing saying that they couldn't hear me, but I think I'm back. So if you haven't heard of LinkedIn's hiring assistant bot, I encourage you to watch the replay of Talent Connection 2024. That's like LinkedIn's recruiter conference. Now, this is still in beta mode, but this tool is already transforming how recruiters work. And as recruiters, we're going to have to adapt to it, but so are you. In seconds, this bot analyzes profiles, pulls up relevant candidates that matches the recruiter search criteria, but it doesn't stop there. It provides a summary of your experience and insights based on your LinkedIn profile, all of your LinkedIn profile. So what have you been posting lately that it can learn from? Anything? So it is going to create custom scripts and jump in the DMs with potential candidates. I can hyperlink it for you if anybody's interested. But LinkedIn's VP of product, I mean, they announced this back in October, and certain companies have rolled it out, and there's only going to be more features coming out that are going to make this more sophisticated. But I want you to be thinking about this. And on the next slide, I'm going to show you a couple more tools that I personally use, but I want you to think about this. Part of the hidden job market, you know, those roles that aren't posted, and let's face it, at the executive level, we're typically not getting jobs by applying to posted roles. At the executive level, you want recruiters finding you for roles that don't even exist yet. Right? Like, we want to be tapped for that strategic initiative that's launching in 2025. We want to backfill that executive that doesn't know that they're on the chopping block. We want to be there when an unexpected investor has a capital surge for an organization for a product that we're interested in. So you want these, you want your profile to be in the pipeline of recruiters, even if they don't have a role for you right now. And I think it's also important to note that this bot is looking for patterns in your digital presence. So what conversations are you a part of? Are you showcasing thought leadership? Do you have a unique perspective? Or are you just your title, companies, and education? you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized, that you're engaging thoughtfully, and that you're ready for speed. Hiring times are shrinking, so be sure your profile, your materials are polished so that you can really seize opportunities as soon as they arise. And I'm not saying that just because my flagship products are resume and LinkedIn writing. Like, you can do this yourself. I'm really saying this because LinkedIn is lagging behind on integrating AI into the recruiter tool. So while LinkedIn Recruiter is still a go-to, or LinkedIn is still a go-to platform, there's other software out there, AI-enabled software like HiredScore and HiredEasy, that have been leading the charge for far more advanced capabilities. So these tools source candidates from all social media platforms and non-traditional channels. So if you have any type of digital footprint, it'll find you. It automates email outreach and highly personalized messages at scale and follow-up emails. It analyzes candidate profiles to identify transferable skills that might not immediately be obvious on a resume, and provide predictive analytics to assess how well the candidate's role, how well the candidate aligns with the role. And that increases decision-making capabilities. At the companies that I helped roll this out, they saw a 50% increase in cold outreach for candidates. And then also their internal recruiting, the finding talent from within that would otherwise be pigeonholed into a role, it's easier to find other opportunities to upskill or reskill or use them in a different way versus doing layoffs. Brenda, so glad you could join. Welcome from Detroit. So with all these AI tools, what is their search on the web going to reveal? Like, are you showing up as who you are, or do you look retired? I think it's really time in 2025 to take ownership of our online presence and ensure that it really reflects the value that you bring, because if you don't do it, AI will. And it's been doing it all year. And if you're wondering, why the heck haven't I landed a job? Maybe this is part of it, because of how the AI is trained. They want to see people who are active. They want to see people who have an opinion. They want to see people who are leaders in their industry, not inactive. So as executive job seekers, if any of you are job seekers, like, we already know how much technology has impacted the job market. You might not have ever known of HiredEasy or HiredScore or LinkedIn's hiring bots. But I think it's really important for us to humanize everything and keep in mind that companies need leaders who can bridge the gap between these tools and real world impact, because we're still people at the end of the day. And this is where I think that you really have a unique opportunity to stand out in 2025. You know, you can showcase your expertise using AI, but you can at the same time emphasize how you lead with human and AI collaboration. You can emphasize adaptability and speed, and yes, of course, your authentic leadership. You know, do your values align with their mission? Does your story demonstrate how your leadership drives results and trust? The job seeker who excels in 2025, I think, will view AI as a tool, not a threat. And I work with a lot of job seekers who really view AI as a threat. So I think that if you can really rise above all the noise, you're going to experience a really disruptive year in 2025, and they're going to need leaders who can lead that charge. So I know I'm like coming up on time because I was talking too much, but I got a couple more things for you. Remote work. According to HR Executive in 2024, 33% of companies required full-time office work, and this number is expected to rise in 2025. The era of widespread remote work flexibility appears to be narrowing thanks to companies like Google, Apple, Starbucks, Amazon, Citigroup. They have declared that productivity and innovation happen in the office, and the push to return to office is real for many companies, if not negotiable. So what does this mean for you? If you're targeting a return to office company, you need to position yourself for that. And if you feel that work can be done well in a hybrid environment, you need to be able to speak to that. Bottom line, whatever you're pursuing, the key is to align your leadership story with the organization's philosophy and make sure that you also agree with it. Otherwise, you're just not going to be happy. I'm actually got a LinkedIn Live coming up on, when is it? February 21st. I know that's far out, with a researcher who is studying hybrid work and its effectiveness. And so if you want to get some mentorship on how to really push that for your organization, be sure to tune in. She's an amazing resource. The other hiring trend for 2025, it's a little bit controversial. Some believe wholeheartedly, while others call BS on the idea that companies are shifting from pedigrees to skill, especially at the executive level. Lower level roles, this makes sense, right? It's easier to understand. But for executives, the jury's still out, because you and I both know the importance of brand recognition behind closed doors, right? If somebody is a Harvard grad coming from a top 3 firm and somebody's a no-name company with a no-name degree or no degree at all, it's who's the person that's going to be picked 9 times out of 10, especially in those senior level leadership roles. So a couple things that make people feel like this is starting to happen, even at the executive leadership role, is that companies are navigating real world challenges. And even if you have an amazing degree, that hasn't always translated into actually producing results. So that's why you want to make sure that on your resume and your LinkedIn and in your interview, all of those stories, you really showcase those achievements. Because hiring has become more ROI driven. Economic pressures are pushing companies to get the most out of every hire. They want leaders who can have measurable impact, not just look good on paper. And in the year of authenticity, hello, David, thank you for joining. Companies are really looking for people who align with their mission and values. They want leaders who are going to inspire trust, navigate all of this change that's coming in 2025, and really lead with purpose. And so that's why skills over pedigree, a lot of people are thinking that this is really going to be a thing, even at the executive level. And if you didn't know, I live in the Midwest. Startups aren't cool like on the West Coast. They're viewed as like risky. But I've deeply penetrated the startup world due to some amazing clients. Shout out to you. You know who you are. And so for the first time in 2024, I've actually worked with more leaders who are coming from the startup world than Fortune 500 world. So let me tell you about 2 of them. I had a client of VP or a VP of technology client for a SaaS startup. He had an incredible opportunity to work on a $1 billion contract for a very prestigious client with no background in that industry. And if you're thinking like, what's the catch? So he pivoted to the other company and went from a VP of technology to an L6, a manager level. But he still had a huge increase in pay. And so this company didn't care about his VP title. He got a manager title. So skills over pedigree. Another client of mine worked for a fintech startup. She initially had her sights on VP in traditional finance companies, but she discovered that in traditional finance companies, the VP title, you're pretty much an individual contributor. It's not an executive leadership title. And she actually needed to start applying to executive director roles at those Fortune 100 finance companies. So again, her C-suite title that she had at her startup, transitioning into corporate, it wasn't going to be the same. And so I share these two examples with you because there's significant challenges when going from a startup to a Fortune 100 or a Fortune 500 and vice versa. There's going to be different types of budget constraints. There's going to be different ways to attract top talent. And these are all things that you want to keep in mind in 2025 so you can really align yourself in. There's going to be a nuance here. So let's address that. Degrees and pedigrees still hold weight in certain industries. I have found, and if you've seen something different, please drop it in the chat, that finance and healthcare industries, they care. Where like tech companies, not as much. So it's you, your story, your approach, your results that companies are hiring for in 2025. And so as I leave here today, I want to ask you, how are you going to position yourself to stand out in this new era of job searching? Like this new era hasn't started in 2025. It's been here. What are your intentional daily actions that are going to set you up for success? For those of you who are ready to lean towards a more reflective approach, I encourage you to fast forward to December, it's not 12, it's December 20th, 2026. And picture her. I'm going to use her because I'm a woman, but if you're a man, him, right? So picture her. Your future self. What is she doing? How does she think? What habits has she built to set herself apart? What courses has she taken? Conferences has she attended to refine her skills or expand her network? How many genuine conversations has she had each week? What does her LinkedIn activity look like? What thought leaders is she following, and what kind of inspiration is she gaining from them? You all have the power to design what your future looks like starting today. So my predictions aside, right? Like what's going to happen is going to happen. You can still take ownership of your actions and your activities. And so think about that for a second. Like if you want to achieve a certain goal, it's really easy to make a New Year's resolution and then just, be done. But let me stop sharing my screen so I can see you beautiful people. Hi. Okay, so if you really want to make 2025 something amazing for yourself, we got to start breaking down what's going to give you the biggest ROI on your time. So if you're unemployed, what do your days look like? If you're employed but are looking, and you know that these predictions, quarter one is going to be really important, let's think about that and let's plan that out and be aggressive in your activities versus saying something will happen. Because I work with a lot of job seekers. I work with a lot of organizations who are planning reduction in forces, and I read a lot of economic predictions and surveys and things of that nature. 2025 isn't going to be any easier than 2024. 2026, we're finally going to be stable for a little bit, God willing. But anytime there's a change in political power, things are just going to be shaken up. And so I want you to be prepared for it. All of you have had beautiful careers. and you know how to make shit happen. And so if you want to make it happen for yourself, now it's time to really lean into that. If I can be of service to you, let me know. That is a sneak peek to my 2025 word theme: service, be in service. I'm a connector. I believe good people know good people. If I can introduce you to someone, please allow me to introduce you to someone. If I can volunteer at one of your organizations, one of the charities that you care about or something like that, let me know. Be out there. Let people know what it is that you need, what it is that you care about, what it is that your goals are. Because people want to help other people. And so before I sign off, I just want to leave you with that us being a community is what is going to help make 2025 a better year, because it is going to be another disruptive year. And we've all been dealing with a lot of that, and it hasn't been fun. So, man, these video streams, these live streams compared to the audio rooms that I've been doing, it's just not as fun because I don't have a guest. You guys can't come on stage and chat with me. I'm just here. So I guess how I'll leave you is what I got coming up. I have been in total flow zone today. That's why I'm just like in a sweater. I didn't really care how I showed up. I just wanted to show up for all of you. On December 30th, I am having a New Year, New Influence workshop where I am going to be giving you all of my tools that I use for social media to position myself for opportunities. I've got a completely streamlined approach. You're getting all my Google Sheets, all my scripts, my templates, swipe files, everything. In January, on January 10th, I'm going to be collaborating with Dave Gloss. We are going to be talking about the power of a personal brand. He is in manufacturing and logistics, and yes, it even matters in that industry. On the 17th, I am going to be collaborating with one of my fellow Forbes Coaching Council peers, Christina. We're going to be talking about sustainable success, elevating influence, trust, and even leadership presence. On the 31st, I'm going to be talking to one of my BBD peers, Jenny Adams, about burnout, because like by the end of January, who doesn't feel completely over their New Year's resolutions? And on the 24th, I don't currently have a guest scheduled. So if you have something to say and would like to join me, I would love to have you on. And with that, I bid you adieu. I bid you an adieu. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. I am going to be posting every day. I've got those posts scheduled, but I probably won't be as active. My team does have off, so there is going to be a significant lag in reaching me or someone on my team until January 6th, when we come back refreshed, ready to go, ready to serve. So yeah, guys, happy holidays. Have a safe new year, and I will see you on the 30th. And